14.
14.
We are back.
We're
We
back.
are here. Welcome back, Jack. And we have breaking news. This is incredible. Stacy, why don't you tell everyone watching what has happened? What took place this week? What monumental event shook the core of all of us at the Rocky Files?
Somebody posted something magnificent about our dear friend.
No, not me. Our new home office.
Yeah.
Our new
Home office.
I'm so
Where
sorry.
is our? This is breaking news. Where is our
Breaking
new home office?
From Booger Hole, West Virginia.
Booger Hole, West Virginia. We have finally found. I am so happy about Booger Hole, West Virginia.
Me too.
We did, yeah. This place is everything the name says. I'm telling you, this is incredible.
Yeah,
This
it's
place,
a nice town.
it really is. It
It's
really
a
is.
very nice town.
There's 14 people that live in the town.
Right.
12 dogs, 14 sheep. A little weird on the sheep ratio, but that's our new home office. So I cannot wait to visit. Yeah,
I like it better than Chugwater. No offense. No.
Yeah, Chugwater was a tough name to live up to. That was really tough. There was a little bit too much drinking going on there. So here now at
there's a
Booger
lot
Hole,
of chugging. I like to sip. They were chugging.
they really were. I
Yeah.
think at Booger Hole we have a much more easier way of living there. Really, it's a little slower paced,
Yeah,
as the
I
name
agree.
would suggest. So congrats to Booger Hole.
Yeah, you are our new home office.
You
Love
are our
guys.
new home office.
Love you guys.
Way to go.
We do have some breaking news, though.
We do? What do
Kind
we
of.
have? What the hell was Stacy talking about?
Yeah, Mike. What kind of a week, Stacy? What kind of a week did Mike have?
Probably one of the best of his entire life.
What a week,
That
boy.
was awesome.
Week or a few days, anyways.
Yep. Sly put out a beautiful post and
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
how
we're so proud of our Mike.
grateful
so
he
proud
is
of
for.
I got to tell you, because so when he talked about you before, right? He endorsed you with the word I was looking for.
Yes. Yeah,
And
you're
this
right.
is before I knew you. So I mean,
yeah.
when I saw that was cool, but it had happened already. The other day I'm working and I was driving along and all this stuff is just because Stacy posted something and just constant likes and my phone's just going crazy. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I'm driving, so I'm like, what is going on? So I finally stop and I look and right to the I opened Instagram and it went right to the video, and I'm like, what's it about? I knew something had happened, but I'm like, what's it about? And then when he mentioned you, I gotta tell you, man, and I spoke to Sue a little bit too. I sent her a little message because
Nice.
Yeah, Sue's awesome. And I got a little emotional for you. I was touched. I was kind of just staring at the phone, and then me and Stacy spoke, and I was like, for the rest of that day, and I can imagine you, I was in a fog.
Yes.
I was in this I was just so happy for you, man. And I said you deserve it all. So big day.
Thanks.
Big day.
So I had there was a little bit of frustration going on in the Rocky world and in Sly's world.
Tell us what happened leading up to that, by the way.
So here's what happened. Sly had been putting out these little 6-minute vignettes of the making of Rocky versus Drago documentary that he and John Hertzfeld had put together, and they were great. But in one post, the latest post at the time, he said he wasn't quite sure the documentary was ever going to see the light of day. Yeah. And that got me thinking. I'm like, who would be foolish enough? What type of ego is at play that would stop this from coming to be? Yeah. So I said to myself, well, why don't I just do a little? He doesn't need it, but why don't I just send him a little support? Just telling him what Rocky meant to me and how it affected my life. Hey, everybody. And by now, most of you have seen that 6 minutes that Sly released on Instagram about the documentary, a Rocky IV director's cut. All right, a few things first. I'm going to go a little long, and I'm going to be a little self-indulgent as to what Rocky means to me. But since this is my Instagram page, I suppose I get to do that. First, I'm going to say, for the next couple of weeks, I will be hashtagging the hell out of Free the Documentary because I believe fans need to see this. And there should be no obstruction of that. For no other reason, the fans deserve to see the hard work and the complicated effort that goes into bringing something like this to life. Rocky IV is a classic. Believe me, I know. I was 18 years old opening night, sitting alone in a crowded theater, watching Rocky IV. And at the time, it completely blew me away. And I am so excited to see what Sly has done. The few clips that were released in the trailer were nothing short but brilliant. Anyways, in the documentary, Sly says something, I'm going to paraphrase. I don't even know what Rocky means, or I'm not sure what Rocky means. To me, Rocky has given me everything that's good in my life. It's led me down a very good, clean path. It kept me away from drugs and gangs and violence and bad things. Kept me going from one good job to another. I met my wife because of Rocky. I'm here in this beautiful house, and I have a career that I love so desperately and passionately. I would do anything to keep it going. Rocky has made me more empathetic. It has made me more compassionate to understanding other people. And more times than I can count, I have said to myself, what would Rocky do? But it also means a lot to other people. Come on over here. Underneath the steps right here, these are just some of the gifts I've received over the years from tours. I've gotten books, coffee mugs. That's a Win Rocky Win ornament. A championship belt was given to me. Canadian maple sugar. Look at that. Chuck Taylor ornaments. Even the turtles. The old cuff. You're going to move today. Here's some cuff links, right? Sly, I'm going to talk to you right now. When you were a Rocky, it was just you. There was no one from Hollywood sitting at that little table with you writing. When you sat there and you wrote that was you. And I would hate to think anyone is standing lording it over you. So, I am in your corner. I will always be in your corner. And I'm going to hashtag the hell out of Free the Doc, Rocky IV Sly's director's cut. Sly, and I had hoped it would come from a very sincere part. I hope that's how he would have taken it. So I posted the video and, I wrote something nice in, where you can write something on Instagram when you make the post. And that was that. And he's evidently he saw it. And the next day I'm driving to work. I'm on the Schuylkill. It's this 8-lane superhighway. And I was in bumper to bumper traffic. And I hadn't looked at Instagram in a little while. I'd been busy in the morning.
Yeah.
And so I'm stopped in traffic. And I thought, okay, I'll just start scrolling through. And I looked and I said, oh, Sly put up another one. He's got these glasses on. He's shaking a pen in front of the camera. And I go, oh, he's probably talking about another installment of the thing. So I'm watching it. All right. And then he says, what he said. And then he goes, I'd like to give a call out to maybe the greatest Rocky impersonator in the.
Good morning, everyone. Here I am writing away. It's ingrained habit, but it's time for another installment of the making of Rocky IV. Also, I'd like to call out probably the greatest Rocky impersonator in the world, Mike Kunda, who lives in Philadelphia, and he has the Yo Rocky Philly tours, which if you're a real fan, you should check him out. He just wrote me a very heartfelt message, and I appreciate it. I really do. When people pour their hearts out like that, it's fantastic. Anyway, get ready for the next adventure.
My jaw hung open. My
Yeah.
heart started
Yeah.
beating very,
I
very
bet.
fast.
Yeah.
Now, it's weird because I've spent, a fair amount of time with Sly, not as much as others and more than some, more than I ever thought I would spend with the guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm very comfortable talking face to face with him. It's like I don't go into fanboy territory. He's just another guy to me.
Yeah.
Not really just another guy, but I sort of have that mentality, you know?
right.
I know what you mean.
So yeah. So anyways, I couldn't believe it. So the first thing I did, I called Sue, and she doesn't usually pick up. I don't usually call her during the day at work because she's very busy, and she happened to pick up the phone. And this is exactly what I said. Hey, you want to go to Sly's Instagram? Yeah. And she knew, for me to call her and say that, she knew something was up. So she reads it. She calls me right back, or she sees the video and she goes, "Holy expletive. Like, this was crazy."
Yeah.
She was like, tears in her voice. You could tell it was very, very, very emotional.
Yeah.
Very emotional. Then she sent it to my dad and like every relative I have on the planet. So,
Yeah.
I was dumbfounded. Sly had been so generous and so nice to me over the years. I never asked him for anything, and I never would ask him for anything. And for him to do something like this, boy. But here's the problem. I couldn't wrap my mind around it because in about 7 minutes from seeing this, I was getting off the exit to go start my tour, and I didn't want to show up emotional, tears in my eyes or anything like that, because that's a weird dynamic. They could see something's wrong with me, and I didn't want to go there. Right. So it didn't settle. But at the same time, I didn't want him to say, he wouldn't say this, but I didn't want him to think, well, Mike hasn't said anything. Maybe he didn't like it. So I just did a very fast video. I didn't even know what to see. I just rambled in the video. Yeah. And then he wrote me back again.
Yeah.
He
did.
On that video, he wrote me a paragraph. I couldn't believe it.
We're going to show this all. Well, I'm going to put this all up.
Yeah. You know what, not like for, it's not about, it isn't about me. It's about the Rocky effect.
Right.
It really is about the Rocky effect.
Yeah, right.
And I think understanding how to, put it out there in a way that is so heartfelt. I think fans maybe will understand maybe me a little bit more. So I think we should show the video that I did in my Rocky room, and then his video, and then maybe a screenshot of what he wrote me. But I didn't know he had put a picture. So he did that post talking at his desk about me, and I didn't know there was the picture of him punching me in the face at the Rocky statue.
When did you see that?
About 10 hours later.
Because it was a scroll. It was like next.
I didn't know that. I didn't. I was so out of my mind.
Yeah.
And so, and I had been coming down with the touch of a head cold. You could probably hear it in my voice. I had this chest head cold thing going on, and so I'm taking meds or whatever. And I got home and I was exhausted from my tour, and I had such a hard time focusing on my tour because I'm thinking, my God, Sly just did that for me. Like, how generous of him. And I just want to go read the comments now. Now my ego is raging out of control. Like, what are people saying? Oh my God. And so, but I had to focus on my job, and I will admit it was very, very difficult. So normally in these types of things, when they happen, I tend to have my emotional moment on the drive home, but I didn't have it that day because I was still out of my mind. I still couldn't believe it. Plus I wasn't feeling good. So Sue came home and we talked about it and, went through that, and I had to get right. I fell asleep very early and I had to get up the very next morning and head right down to Philly and go do my thing.
So I still don't have time to.
I still didn't have time to really process it.
Yeah.
Really didn't process it until yesterday afternoon on the way home. And, you can never predict when emotions are going to start. You can
Mhm.
never predict when you're
Yeah.
going to be overcome, and tears are just going to flow.
Yeah.
And I am a big believer. Stacy, we talk about this all the time. You're a big believer in this. My family is a big believer in it. Sue, everyone I know. I wish we were at a place in society where men could show more emotions, whether it's happy, sad, whether they're looking for help, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And we're moving there. We're not there yet. And so I think a lot of guys tend to do it in the privacy
Private.
of
Mhm.
their own. Now, I've done this in front of Sue,
Yeah.
my parents, my brother,
Sure.
whatever. I will be very emotional. My sister-in-laws will tell you that, my brother-in-laws, my nieces and nephews. I am that guy. I don't care if someone sees me crying. I will get emotional. But it just hit me, and I was listening to music,
Mhm.
and I thought, my God, how did this happen? How did that 11-year-old boy from Scranton, Pennsylvania in 1979 see Rocky on TV, and I'm here
Yeah.
Right.
doing this?
Mhm.
Not only that, but I've got the guy who inspired me. We're friends, down and out, legitimate friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, it takes me back to The Pretender, the great Jim Toscano, who is a guy I love tremendously. He had this idea for a documentary about my goofy, silly little life. And one of the lines I said in my old house, sitting next to the piano that no one ever played, I said, I'm not friends with Sly yet, but like I'm on his radar, and maybe someday. And here we are. This someday is here now. And I'm just I guess what it always comes down to, it's what he says the best, is just always believe in yourself. Just always, no matter how difficult, no matter how many naysayers there are, no matter how difficult it may get, and it does get difficult, and there's different qualifications, and there's different situations in everybody's lives, and maybe not everyone can be as fortunate as I was. I mean, if I didn't do, if Sue hadn't kept working through COVID, if Sue wasn't as understanding about my career, I couldn't be here now. I couldn't have done it on my own.
Right.
I couldn't have done it without the kindness of strangers, my friends Greg and Alexa DeStefano, my friend Rhea, my friend Steve. I could not have done it without a certain group going to see The Wizard, as it was. And, and it's amazing.
He said, because you're dedicated and a true example of following your dreams no matter what.
Is that's what that was what he wrote on that?
That's just a little part of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know what more validation a person can ask for. To me, not having what it took to go to college. Not that I was stupid. Had I gone, I probably would have done maybe almost okay. But not having a college education, having Sly do that's like getting my master's degree. You know what I mean? That's what that's like. That's like that diploma. I couldn't get. I earned my diploma a little differently, through lots and lots of failures, and the one or two big wins I've had, like job career wise, that they've been pretty big. They were enough to blanket the failures, so most people don't see that. And I tell you,
how did it differ from the first time to this time? I think this means a little bit more, no?
Yeah, this means all of it meant a great deal.
Right,
all of it was, I mean, you're at the top of the biggest Mount Everest, and then there's 5 more mountains are coming your way, pal. You don't even know. I'm like, oh my God. I don't think I've ever been higher career wise, so or recognition wise. I think I almost, now I'm at a point where I like, not that feeling bad isn't the right word. He's been so generous to me so much. Part of me still in my head says, why is he so good to me? Why is he so nice? And after what you just read, Anthony, and what he said, I have to remember that. I said, You know what, Mike? That's why you worked real hard. You took a lot of crap from people. You hung in there. You never, ever stopped. And, it was a team effort at different times. And then I also realized and acknowledge it was my own perseverance and dedication. Yeah, because you can have all the help you want from people. And if you don't have dedication and perseverance, or like he says in the documentary, which I hope we should be talking about that in like 5 seconds.
Right.
It's what are you doing it for? Why are you doing what it is? What is your goal? Is your goal to be the best? Is your goal to make money? Nah, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
My goal is to bring fans to 1976, to remind them of the passion that ignited something in their life. Maybe they had to let it go for very legitimate reasons, but maybe if I take them on a tour, maybe if I share these stories and my story, my journey of from failure to wins, maybe they'll say, you know what? I always wanted to open up a hot dog cart or a sandwich cart at the courthouse for the lawyers and the police officers or whoever coming out, of court. And that's what I want to do. I want a diner. I want to have a little breakfast diner somewhere. I want to open up a bed and breakfast somewhere. Whatever. Go back. It's never too late. You can go back and do that. And these little footprints that I'm trying to put down, I see the totality of it. Sometimes I see it's in Australia, Japan, New Zealand, Canada, all over the UK. And when I sit back, I say, wow, Mike, you're touching the lives of people. And I'm a picture in a frame in thousands and thousands of people's houses just from their memory of our tour together. And that's not ego talking. That's humbled. I'm just saying it humbles me. Mentally, I'm always taking a knee when it comes to these things. I'm never saying how great. It's never like that. Never like that.
But he knows that. He knows that.
Yeah.
I think he
doesn't. Yeah. You're not trying to make money off of it. You're not asking for anything. You are Rocky's interpreter. I like saying you're saying you're an interpreter.
I love the interpreter. Jesus,
I don't like impersonator. Impersonator is like an Elvis impersonator.
Right.
An interpreter.
I love that.
I see this picture of you with like a Spartan or something.
Yeah.
In front of like a rocky gate.
Yeah,
like you are the rocky gatekeeper.
I know.
They protect everything in it, and that's what he sees. He doesn't see someone trying to make money, and that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
It's perfect because you talk about perseverance and hard work, and that's all there. But I can't think about the people he deals with in Hollywood and how many people have stabbed him in the back or how many people aren't loyal. Okay. When he has someone who's as genuine and as loyal, like unwavering loyalty, I mean, 100% of the time. And every post you make, everything you say is to either uplift Rocky or be kind and sensitive to him personally, professionally, 100% of the time. You don't stab him in the back. He's gonna thank you for that.
Your life runs parallel. You're not. Rocky.
Isn't that's unique?
Fly. Your life just kind of like runs parallel to the whole thing. The whole work hard. That whole story. You just run parallel to that.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful philosophy. It's something that I haven't always understood as well as I understand it now sitting here with you guys. But I've always tried to practice it. Whatever point I was at in my life, I always try to practice the philosophy that Rocky and Sly live by. Doesn't mean we're perfect. Doesn't mean it works out all the time. Doesn't mean I don't make major stupid fumbling mistakes. Look at Sly. He'll be the first to point out. I mean, the tabloids have chronicled his minute and large mistakes over the years. I can't imagine how that must have affected him psychologically and all the emotional wear and tear baggage that he has that life will deliver us. And so I say, my God, if Stallone can do it, I can do it. Because at the end of the day, forget the fact Sylvester Stallone is an icon. Forget the fact he's a writer and an actor in Rocky and Rambo. Just erase all of that because he wasn't always that. He was always just a guy with a simple philosophy of pushing through rejection. That's it. Never knowing he was going to become what he ended up becoming. Rocky would be affecting people the way that it did. He just believed in this simple philosophy. And when you think of it like that, a lot of us are a lot more like Sylvester Stallone than we think we are. Yeah. And there's one other thing I'll say, and then we should probably talk about the documentary. Yeah. He has this thing where he doesn't, and maybe this is a good segue, he doesn't know how to accurately describe Rocky.
Mm-hmm. Which he said in his documentary.
Yeah. And I think maybe this is a good place to kind of just talk about the doc. Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. What was your thoughts about that?
The doc got freed yesterday.
Yes. The doc got freed yesterday. Yeah. So if you don't know, if you're watching this, if you don't follow his Instagram, if you haven't seen my Instagram, go to YouTube and type in the Making of Rocky versus Drago documentary. Or go to the Sly Stallone Shop YouTube page. It's right there. It's an hour and a half. Watch it. You will not be disappointed.
No. Stacey, what did you think? First impressions.
Oh, I loved seeing him behind the scenes, seeing the minute work of editing, and he's funny. He's really funny. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The way, and it was really interesting to hear, his perspective. If I knew now what I, if I knew then what I knew now, and then just the way he would critique, the way he edited back then and the things he's catching or noticing now. I found that wildly interesting. I was like, that is so cool. To have all those 35 years of perspective. And he's like, I shouldn't have shot it this way. I should have shot it that way. That's just funny. I don't know. I thought it was neat.
What was the biggest, only one revelation? What was the one big revelation of all of it?
Well, mine's Adrian. So that one part where he talked about Adrian and women and how a lot of their stuff is on the back burner. I was like, bam, isn't that the truth? Yeah. That, it's so true. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That hit for me. Of course, I'm female, but I was just happy that he noticed that, For me, that was a big validation. I don't
Anthony, how about you? What was your revelation?
For me, it was how, upset he was near the end. I don't want to, people didn't see it, but he says, I think he was asked, it was almost done. And I think Hirschfeld said, like, how do you feel now? And he was like, I feel angry. A little bit angry.
Oh, that was surprising.
Yeah. Because
that surprised me.
You don't realize this stuff because you're a kid and you're watching and whatever, and you don't know all the behind the scenes, but he was like, there was too many hands in the pot at that time.
Yeah.
That you don't realize. You just think, it's the times and that's how he wanted it to come out. And that's, that's how it came out. But to me, the biggest revelation was that he probably didn't want it to come out that way.
Right.
And yes, he's so thrilled that he gets a second chance because he says not everyone gets a second chance at life or redoing something. Mm-hmm. But when it was all done, he's staring at the TV and he's like, I'm a little bit pissed off. That's how he thinks of this as a drama, and he wanted it to be that. And 500 people were pulling him in every direction, and he couldn't put it out the way he wanted to put it out.
Right.
But it's awesome that he gets a second chance. And I really like watching it. The biggest thing I saw, like watching him redoing it, other than he's hilarious, and seeing him as a regular kind of person just talking through all this was just, I could see him reflecting, like just literally going through his whole life.
Yeah.
Watching this one film, going through his whole life. Yeah. And saying, if I had known that then, if I had known that, why can't we know this stuff at that time? Why, more experience, things I've been through make me see things differently. I just watched him going through his whole life. Like you could see it in his eyes, and he was just going back. But to get to the fact that he got to do it again, that makes me so happy. Not just that we can see it, but for him, it feels like for him personally. I know he's pissed, but a nice, probably a weight off of his shoulder.
Yeah, agreed. Stace, what were you gonna say?
No, I think a big revelation, if I could have a second one, is I was stunned how much he wasn't part of the final decisions back then.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, so I'm like, how, you know what I'm saying? I don't know all the laws and how it works, and who makes decisions about what, but it was stunning to me how much he wasn't part of what that final cut was. So
true. All the things that he kept hearing, like, the British guy, where did that guy come from? And the woman screaming, where did that come from?
The one thing is, like, we got you, Rock. I don't think that's in Rocky 4.
I never heard that.
I never heard that in Rocky 4.
I think he thinks it is, but I don't. Unless Sandra said,
I never heard it.
That's the thing I said when that clip played. I went, I never heard that. And Sandra goes, well, maybe it's
more faded,
less audible.
Yeah,
I got to go back and check it. But I said I never heard that part. But the British commentator, I always said, where did this guy come from? Where did
Americans live an English accent?
Yeah, and he's like, where did that come from? It's so true. All that stuff that he didn't know, man.
That's the thing, in Hollywood, we've heard these stories a million times, and unfortunately, Sly is not, immune from them. There are going to be producers on these movies who will not see it your way.
They'll slip things in after. It's crazy.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 times, the producer is almost always wrong. And I can tell you, from what I understand, from what I know behind the scenes, there was a particular producer that was way wrong on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I tell you, for me, my biggest revelation, there were a few, but the big one I took away from, Sly never realized Apollo wasn't wearing boxing gloves. I recognized that. I think the second or third viewing.
I was going to ask you that.
How did you miss that?
In 1985, I knew that then.
Yeah.
Apollo has no gloves.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, and Sly's like, I watched this movie like 100 times. And I think I know what it is. I think the older Sly got, he would watch the movies a little bit more. And we heard him say how he was going to tweak the No Easy Way Out a montage. He's not a fan of the close-up of Rocky's face. He's not, it's too vain. He goes, we're going to just tweak that a little bit. Yeah. And he goes, no, that's ego. He goes, we're going to tweak that. And in that corner, it's a close-up of Rocky's face and Apollo waving his hand. And I think Sly, knowing what was coming up, he maybe was checking his phone, or maybe he went to go get a glass of water, or, maybe he was chopping off the head of the cigar and lighting it. I think he just chose to look away because it was just another close-up, because I see my face every morning. I look in the mirror. I think that had something to do with it. And also, I think being on autopilot. You're on autopilot. Like, okay, Paulo, I want you, Drago, the fight, the set. You just, it doesn't register because you were there, you lived it. And there's got to be, I hope I'm using this word right, a cacophony, yes, of thoughts where he has to see Rocky 4 differently than when we watch Rocky 4,
for sure.
Because he's got all the imagery from the years, being on set and so on. Like what he said about the snow when they get off the plane in Russia.
Yeah,
like he says, when I got there in Canada, it was just brighter.
Yeah.
It was just way brighter, and he's right. I mean, sunglasses with the bright snow, of course.
Snow up here.
You sure do. We got a lot of yellow snow in Philadelphia, okay?
But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, because how many, like, the first time I saw that movie, I saw the gloves, right? I saw the no gloves right away. But after that, you see it 4, 5, 6, 20, 30, 40 times.
Yeah.
And you know it's coming. You're like, okay, I got no gloves. But you don't think about it. But
stop thinking about it.
You stop thinking about it. Yeah. But man,
the bigger overall message
right away. The finger.
And and then the next thing, I had heard him mention this somewhere. And this was a few years back. This was maybe 8, 9 years back. Maybe I can't be exactly sure. I love that he went into detail about regretting killing off Apollo. I really like
that's another one. Yeah.
He didn't see the ramifications, how he could have took over in a wheelchair, how he could have done this or that, the involvement, how Rocky 5 would not have happened. Rocky Balboa wouldn't have happened in that way. It would have been different. And Creed might not would have happened.
Right.
And we all know
I'm wild.
Yeah. I guess you could.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'll get myself in trouble if I say anything negative about.
I think that blew my mind. You know how he was like, well, Carl, you're going to be pissed. I was a little pissed because I'm starting to think of, him in a wheelchair. That blew my mind. He could have been in the whole series. Would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could. I think you could have still done 5. Balboa and the Creeds, it would be so different. But I think you could have done them. I think you could have had Creed, and then he finds his son. Who knows, right? Could have done them.
I don't know how Apollo. There's a million ways you can take the storyline, but I can't picture Apollo in a wheelchair, and I just can't picture him as a character, as his personality. Right. Not having the physical ability, and now he is sitting in a chair. I do not picture him handling that well.
But that would have been it, right? Like, we all know the way he was, and now he's got to change. Like,
he's got to change. There's his journey. That would have been cool to see. Yeah.
I think because he helped Rocky, in Rocky 3, I think Rocky would have helped him get through the depression of being in the chair. And then I think Apollo would have come back after Rocky lost everything to support him. And like I said, Rocky 5, maybe there wouldn't be Rocky 6. Maybe Rocky 5 would be a combination of 5 and 6 together in some form. Maybe Adrian wouldn't be dead. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the Victor Cafe would have never been Adrian's restaurant.
Right.
Oh my God! I just thought of something.
You never. Yeah, right.
I would never do tours.
That's right. You never would do tours
because I never would have went to the restaurant. I never would have met Steve. I never would have met Rhea, Alexa, and Greg. I never would have met any of those people. Yeah. So holy shit!
Butterfly.
So we're leaving it just the way it is.
You guys are like, It's a Wonderful Life, Clarence.
Yeah, right.
You were never born. You were never there to save those boys on the transport. Your brother died.
Everything would have been different.
You were not there to save anyone.
Stacey, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here.
Right?
We are here because he killed Apollo.
You got it. Sorry, Carl.
Sly, you made the right choice, okay?
Sorry, Carl.
Poor Carl.
Sorry, Carl. I love him.
Wow. Wow. That is
I did not expect that. I just had a epiphany right here. Like,
did that right here and now. Yeah, we just figured it all out. But
it'd be completely different.
What a great documentary. Watch it, please. I just thought what I really took apart from him, like, I could see him really going back, was I really got to see his genius.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Yes.
And if anyone thinks that Sly's not a producer, Sly's not a director, if you're watching this, shut it off.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
Be here.
He wore every hat. Yeah. Even in the room with the music with the orchestra. Remember that post from several months ago? He's like in there with the orchestra going, nope, do it louder. Do the section. Talk about every nook and cranny. He's right in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I will say one last thing, and then I'll say my last takeaway, and then I think we have somebody we interviewed, so we've got to get them in here. So I'm not going to spoil this, but he reads a paragraph of the original ending of Rocky 3, how the fight went. One of the questions I always wanted to know was, how did the fight go? How did he envision that fight go? But it was never filmed, but he tells us literally step by step how the fight ended with him and Apollo, the third fight.
Yeah.
What's the last thing I was going to say? Oh, damn it. I just forgot it. I just lost my train of thought here.
Okay. While you're thinking, I have an idea. If you don't mind, hopefully you can hear it. I had a conversation about free and fair use. So, So how about I show what Sly said to you on my phone up to my camera and see, do you want to do it that way? We could do it that way. Or do you prefer to cut it in? There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
So are you saying the paragraph that he wrote, like the video? I think Anthony's going to drop that in. He's going to put that in. Yeah. Okay. So because then I think the quality will be a little more good. Yeah. I think that'll work. But thank you, Stace.
Yeah.
You just gave everybody a little teaser about it right there.
A little teaser. I like
a little teaser. Yes. See, she's always thinking. She's on the ball.
Well, Vinny Vegas helped us out with some of those.
Yeah, Oh, that's good.
Shout out to Vinny Vegas.
Vinny's a great guy. I love that guy. I really do. Awesome. He's been working on a project. I gotta talk to him about a project he's been working on. I haven't gotten updates from him, so I gotta check into that.
I have an update on it. He's coming on. He's gonna work on it. Yes.
Is he
talking about it?
Fair enough.
Guys, before our interview, before we get to our interview, very soon, I told you guys I have a real quick story about my father-in-law. I gotta get this.
Yeah, go.
Okay?
Do it.
Listen to this story. We go over the other day, okay? And just for dinner. And he's a huge Rocky fan, loves anything action, blood, all that kind of stuff. He has this sweater, actually. We got him this sweater for his birthday.
Nice.
Right? Mike was nice enough to send him a shout out on his birthday last year. I remember that.
Oh.
So we go over and he's talking about, old school guy. He's got VCRs, okay? So he's like, I got 3 VCRs. I watch all my movies on these VCRs. 2 of them were not working correctly. One, kids, if you don't know what VCRs are, go look it up. Whatever. So one, the door, okay, the flap of the door wasn't working. The second one is the worst one. This is where he watched all his movies. He puts the tape in. Again, kids, if you don't know what we're talking about, you know, the tape got all chewed up, right? Remember, you take the tape out, it's all dangling. So every time he goes to watch a movie, it's getting chewed up. He can't get it. So he finds a guy who can fix VCRs. The guy opens up the VCR. He goes, hey, come over here for a second. Let me tell you what's wrong with the VCR. So if you guys remember the VHS tape, right? On the front was always the sticker of whatever movie it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So he goes, let me show you something. In the VCR was a sticker from one of the films that was catching the reel.
Oh.
What movie was ruining all of his tapes?
Was it Rocky 4?
Rocky 3.
Really?
Rocky 3 was destroying all his movies. For how many times he watches the Rockies, the sticker came off of Rocky 3.
Oh,
and he had to tell me the story. He had to, because, you know, he knows, oh, my son.
Of course.
Rocky. He's wearing the sweater because I'm coming over. And he's like, Rocky 3 was destroying my films. So I thought that was funny.
That's great.
That's
funny.
cute.
Rocky
That
3.
is funny.
Yeah.
Anthony, I love that story. Any type of cute, fun little connection like that. To me, it just, I don't know. It's, I love hearing it. And I know some people might say, oh, whatever. So, but, I love that stuff.
Cute.
No, it's
Tony,
cute.
My father-in-law, Tony, love him. He's a big Rocky Sly guy. Love
Yo,
him
Tony, no baloney.
Tony.
Stay old school. Don't play a fool. Don't sit and drool.
Now he can
You
watch
ain't
all
no
his
tool.
Rockies again.
Sometimes VCRs can be cruel. All right.
Can. Who do we got?
We got this guy.
Yeah.
Paulo. Now, listen. You all know we do our interviews before we do our intros. It's just kind of the way we do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy was so excited. Anthony, we didn't realize we were going to talk to him for 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Then we were going to put him in the green room and then bring him back in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We brought him in. He went right to it. Anthony was like 5 seconds because he didn't know. You didn't know he was going to start talking.
Right.
He didn't go to the green room. He went right on stage.
He went right. He was knocking on the door. Let me in. I got a story.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be disappointed. We're going to pick up the interview like
right away.
Right away. We're right into the interview, and he's off and running. So, Anthony, roll that beautiful baked bean footage.
Here comes Paulo.
You know, I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety at an early age, 17, dealing with that. And then, of course, it's, you know, not just dealing with that, but dealing with everything of being a kid at that time.
Yeah.
You know, at the time I was a senior in high school. Plus, something I always talk about, I'm first generation American. My parents are Portuguese, came over from Portugal. So I grew up with 2 different cultures in the home. I grew up Portuguese, I grew up American. And, you know, having to kind of live up to the expectations on both sides. So that was a lot of stress. As I got older, it became, you know, I had to deal with, again, falling short on certain things, and that added to the struggles. And then more recently, the last 7 years have been extremely difficult. I lost my dad at a young age. He was 58. Just
wow.
Out of the blue. And, you know, I myself, the last few years, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer, colon cancer, and just dealing with a lot of heavy struggles. Plus, you know, there came a few moments where I thought to myself, you know what good am I to anyone at this point?
Yeah.
You know, I'm always sick. I'm not making money. I'm always in a terrible mood. I'm, you know, things just aren't going well. So maybe it's time for me to check out.
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't, you know, obviously.
Right. So, Paul, that to me, you've just described the Mount Everest of getting through life. And so here you are. What helped you do that? I mean, is there like I would almost have to imagine there's some type of a Rocky connection for you. That'd be just the motivation.
There is. So one thing, when Stacey told me about your group, and I've listened to all your episodes and everything, I really enjoyed them. I think it's great.
Oh, thanks.
And congratulations too. I saw your post where Sylvester Stallone sent you that personalized message. That was awesome.
He did?
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that. I don't think I watched it 1,000 times yet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
My pleasure. So you talk, one of the things that always motivated me I grew up watching Rocky. I'm 40 years old. So I was 10 years old when I first watched Rocky for the first time. And the one scene that always stood out to me, even back then, was in round 4, towards the end of round 14 in the first movie, where he just got knocked down. The ref is making sure he's okay, and Apollo turns around, and all he sees is Rocky beaten to a bloody pulp, and Rocky's like, "Come on, what else you got?" And right there, it wasn't a punch, it wasn't anything else that Rocky did in the ring. That completely demoralized Apollo. And I looked at it as, if this guy could be beaten senseless and go through what he just go through, and he still, come on, what else you got? I was like, that is awesome. So as I got older and I faced certain obstacles in life, I just kept going, okay, listen, I've made it this far. I've overcome this. What else you got for me? Let's go.
Yeah.
How about the face of Apollo Creed in that scene? Right? When Apollo just shakes his head and goes, I just beat the hell out of this guy. That, to me, Apollo's face is the cancer you had. I just tried to take this guy out, and he's saying, I'm still standing here. That's remarkable, Paul. I mean, that is absolutely remarkable.
Thank you. And that's just cancer. But, everything in life, because, with being sick and having other issues, it causes a financial strain, it causes a marital strain, it causes a strain on your friendships. I mean, I didn't really talk about it with a lot of people because I didn't want certain people to know, because then it becomes, rumors start flying and going around. Yeah. So I just kind of dealt with it myself, my immediate family. And so I didn't go to, I would be invited to parties and to go out, and I can't go. Yeah. And it's like, wow, well, you're never around, and what's gotten into you. And then, finally, when my wife started kind of sharing, hey, I kind of need some prayers because Paul's in the hospital again, people are like, wow, he's been in the hospital a whole lot. Like, what's going on? So, and then it became of a need to know basis. But yeah, that scene was nothing that could happen in life, it throws at you. You could still, be beaten down, and you still get up. And to me, that always spoke volumes.
Yes. And I think that's one of the main things that unite so many millions, I dare say billions of Rocky fans across the planet. And for all we know, the solar system and beyond, with everything we beam out there. I mean, I always imagine, just like you're saying, there's like some alien life form on some planet and they download some signal. How? I don't know. But they just download like Rocky, and you see like these aliens in like their version of Chuck Taylors and ripped up sweatpants, right? Like Italian alien or something on the back of the sweatshirt. And they're like, I truly believe there are going to be very few film series, I think, that are going to carry the weight that Rocky does. I know The Godfathers, I know it's a Star Wars, and I know maybe on a slightly lesser level, but still whimsical and inspiring, like the Harry Potters, that inspire certain people, because generationally speaking. Sure. But those Rocky movies, there's always going to be underdogs and there's always going to be overdogs. And in my opinion, there's way more underdogs in society than there's ever going to be overdogs.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's worldwide. It's not just something like an American base, or it's
right.
Anywhere in the world, you have people that no one expects anything from, and they come out and they surprise you. And Rocky's a universal character, and I think that's why he's beloved. The Rocky character is beloved worldwide by everyone.
Well, it's that thing. It's that thing that Sly always says. Give me an opportunity to fail on my own terms. And people don't always understand that. So he broke it down so beautifully in that video. It isn't about It's just don't overlook me. Give me the chance. Don't assume that I can't do it. Let me get to the starting line. If I can't, give me the chance to run the race. If I fail and come in last, then I never had it. But I know I don't have to lay on my deathbed saying, what if I had only done that or been given that opportunity? And that he's right. That is the thing that drives us nuts. Stifled dreams, sitting on the curb, and you're watching the parade go by, and you see your dreams are going down the sewer, and there's not a damn thing you could do about it because there are things out of your control. And I think that it's such, like we're saying, universal themes.
Yeah, he talked about it in his documentary. He was, his whole life was, just let me get to the starting line, because he talked about it in the doc where, he was talking about, his face and the way he talks and all that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, everyone was like, no.
Right.
So if he had just said, nah, that's it, I'm not getting a chance, I'm out, never would have been where he is now, right? So you literally keep punching. That's just such a just keep punching.
Right. Paulo, did you get a chance to see the documentary yet?
I haven't. No.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's a must.
No apologies needed. I was just wondering if you saw it. Check it out. It's on YouTube for free. So please grab it.
Awesome.
I always thought there was a great correlation between that scene in Rocky 1 where he's waving at Apollo or Life, come on, keep going, I'm still here. And then there's another scene, if we fast forward to Balboa, where he's at the meat factory with Paulie, and he's trying to tell Paulie that something doesn't feel right inside of him. And, he's telling him about the beast in the basements before.
Yeah.
And I always thought about that as, especially now, because it wasn't reaching 40. I was actually looking forward to 40, and for a moment there, I was scared I wasn't going to make it to 40. But I wouldn't say right around 34, 35, before I got sick, before losing my dad, everything, I started thinking, I'm going to be older soon, and I feel unaccomplished. I feel incomplete. I feel like I've left a lot on the table. Yeah. And that's another scene that always spoke to me, is because you could see it in Rocky. There's something, there was so much. I always think of, and I heard this a lot, with teachers telling my parents, other parents telling my folks, and coaches and everything. He's got so much potential. He's going to do these great, amazing things. He's got so much potential. And when you're a kid, like you're younger, preteen, okay, you don't really think about it. But as I got older, like 16, 17, 18, and I'm like, if I don't live up to this potential, I'm going to let everybody down. And if I don't have this great, amazing life, I'm going to let everyone down. And if things don't go a certain way, as people expected, I've let everyone down. And that scene also was something that was always very important to me, because you see this man who, he's had a good life. He's done some tremendous things. He's beloved, more importantly, by his entire family, but he's beloved by everyone that knows him and knows of him. But he feels like he hasn't done what he's supposed to do. There's still something left, and burden to carry around for anybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I always get. I get emotional thinking about it.
Well, you said something very interesting. It's exactly one of the key topics Sly talks about. It's about halfway or 3/4 of the way through this making of documentary. He realizes, we all say you left something on the table, whatever. He goes, no, most people don't leave scraps on the table. They leave banquets on the table.
Yeah.
And you don't know at the time. You think you're doing the best that you can. But when you have the advantage of age and wisdom, and you look back and say, my God, I didn't come remotely close to doing what I could have done at the time. And it's one of those universal themes I think we all get so frustrated with. Yeah. I have certainly been in your shoes, and I felt that way too. Stacey, what about you? Have you ever felt that like Paulo has?
Oh, yes. I mean, absolutely. I think that's, for me, one of the silver linings of COVID, because, I was a nurse, and you're raising your family, you're doing your thing, and there's all my writing dreams are just sitting there doing nothing, and then all my nursing shifts and everything went away because everything was canceled, and we had a few things happen in the family that make you realize tomorrow's not a promise. And I was like, it's now or never. Now I've always prayed for time. I just need the time.
Yeah.
I got the time. And so I took advantage of it. So I totally get that, because some of those writing projects, some of them are all the way back to 89.
Wow.
So they've just been collecting dust. So yes, I totally get that. Yeah.
Anthony, how about you?
Doing this alone right here. Doing this. This is and with you two. This is everything that I've always wanted to do. And there it is. COVID was kind of like that blessing. I kept working what I do regularly. I kept going. That wasn't the issue, but it makes you think different, right? You do have a little bit more time after work. You do have more time. We're locked down. We're not going out as much. We're not doing what we were doing. So now let's fill some time. And I started to just play around with this idea. Met you, Mike, met you, Stacy, and we just off and running and just dove head first. Didn't even think about it. And it's good because you didn't have the time to say, oh, can I do this? Am I going to fail? We just went forward and did it. And here we are. And that, even this little show is something for me. It's big. It's big for me.
It's amazing.
I also think, it makes you, at least for me, it makes you analyze your relationships, your friendships. And I think the one thing I keep hearing, Paulo, I don't know if this has happened in your life, you kind of find out who your real loyal friends are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious, Paulo, about that, and without naming names.
Yeah, don't name names.
Name names.
Mike wants you to name names.
I do. You do find out who your real friends are. And as a matter of fact, my dad always had this saying, it always sounded a little bit more, smooth in Portuguese than it does when you translate it to English. But he goes, you always know who your friends are, because who your real friends are, because they're the ones that'll either visit you at the hospital or they'll visit you in jail.
Yeah.
And again, when I first heard that, at a young age, because, you're a kid, you go, my friend this, my friend that. And it was his way of saying, whoever you're friend with now, we'll see who's standing at the end, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and so forth. And you know what, there is, I'm proud to say that, there's 4 people who are, after almost 30 some years of friendship, they're still here with me.
That's good.
So that's nice. And you do find out who your friends are, because when, they don't want anything from you. They really don't. When you're backed up against the wall or whatever cliche, something's going on, they're not demanding of anything from you. All they want is what's best for you. And same goes with family too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So whether you're doing great, you're not, the people who truly love you are the ones that never really ask anything of you.
Yeah. It's just how are you, like a text, how you doing?
Right.
How you feeling? Those are,
And I always equate that to, we always get this. So when people find out something's happened with you, you've been in the hospital, a family member's died, whatever the case may be, you always get and I know it's meant well, I really do. But you always get if there's anything I can do. And I don't say that. I don't say to anyone, if there's anything I can do, and I definitely don't say it in public forums, on social media. I'll reach out to the person. If I have their number, I'll call them directly. If I don't have their number, I'll message them privately, and I'll say, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And because that lets you know I'm not self-promoting. I'm not trying to show you what a wonderful person I am. Yeah. So what can I do? Because I remember someone coming up to me going, what can I do? They go, if there's anything you need, Paul, you let us know. This is after my dad died. And I said, you know what? As a matter of fact, there is, I'm still struggling a lot. And I go, my therapist said that I should focus on something that makes me happy. And I said, nothing made me happier when I was younger than I have a 70 Dodge Coronet, 1970 Dodge Coronet. It was my high school graduation gift for my parents. Yeah. And I love that car. I still have that car. It's right outside the window here in the driveway.
That's great.
That's great. Seems to sell, and I don't have the money to work on it. But I go to this person. I go, you know what? As a matter of fact, there is something you can do for me. So speaking to the therapist, they want me to focus on something that makes me happy. Nothing made me happier than when I had the Dodge and I was riding around the Dodge. If you could lend me about $5-6 grand, just so I could get the engine fixed and I could get it running. And I was real serious too, because I could do that with my friends. You know, they won't know sometimes if I'm kidding, if I'm being serious. And I'm looking at them. I said, that would, you know, I think that would help my spirits. It'll help me get going, get me out of this funk. And you would have thought I asked her for her newborn. She's like, please, Paulie. And don't get me wrong, God bless her. You know, she could have done it and I wouldn't have accepted. But she goes, I don't think, wow. She's like, you're really asking me for money? I said, well, you said if there's anything I could do, I'm telling you, that's what you could do to help me, you know? Yeah. Right. And it was kind of a stretch, but a part of me was like, we've been friends for so long and you know me so well. If your first reaction was shock after knowing me and always promoting, oh, I love you and you're such this great person, blah, 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 then you really don't know me. You know what I'm saying? So you're able to weed out the different people. And touching back on a few things that you guys all said about leaving so much on the table. There's the scene in the beach in Rocky 3 when, you know, Rocky just can't get into the training with Apollo and Adrian's there. She's looking at him and she's like, you know, what's going on with you? And he finally said it. He goes, you know, for the first time in my life, I'm afraid. And I think that's what keeps us a lot of times from moving forward or, you know, going after our goals or dreams or maybe changing our lives. It's because we're afraid. Yeah. And, you know, Adrian has that great line. She goes, well, you're human, aren't you? Mm-hmm. You know, what's wrong with being afraid? Yeah. So that was always something that I go and yeah, you know, I do. I love Rocky. I'm still a little kid. Like just the other day, Friday night, I was on Kelly Drive and I did the loop and I rode right by the statue and I'm like, that is awesome. And even
isn't it? I know
it was 10 o'clock at night and there's people running up the steps and you could always tell the ones that are running because you know they're running up the steps and they want the exercise. And then there's the ones who are running because they finally got to do it. Yeah. We always wanted to do it. And it's exciting.
That's the best thing. But I'll tell you what, one of the favorite things I love to do, sometimes I do it after a tour. Like if I just have a morning tour, I'll go get a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and I'll switch my clothes. Because if I go wearing the Rocky fedora and a gray sweatshirt, forget about it.
Forget it.
Yeah, forget it. That's it. I'm not getting out of there. But if I put like a red sweatshirt on, a pair of khakis, okay, and I have just like a baseball cap, I can sit off to the side with a coffee, and I will just watch the buses pull up. They get out, and they all line at the bottom, and then somebody yells "go," and they all run up, and they're all dancing around. Now they're hogging the middle of the steps. This is what 70 feet across, at the 80 feet across, and on the sides of the Rocky steps are exactly like you said, the Philadelphians who are physically active and fit. They're not jumping around up there. They're like jumping on each step, one step at a time, or they're running up, turning down, running up. They're not dancing around because they're doing it for the physical fitness. But everyone, and the other thing I say, and this complements what you're saying, people on my tour, they get very nervous. I don't know if I want to jump around up there. I say, you just flew in from Australia. You may never get back here.
Yeah, really.
The Rocky Steps are maybe the most iconic steps in the world, definitely in the world. So when you're up there, I would do the steps one of two ways. Either take one step at a time and think about your life and how Rocky's impacted that one step at a time. Because you can only run those Rocky Steps for the first time once.
Yeah. Right.
It's never going to be as good as you do it for the first time. It's like when you're starving. You can have 10 hamburgers, but the first hamburger is the best, right? So I said, depending on your personality, I said, maybe you run up with everything you got, and if you get to the top, you throw those arms up in the air, you punch the goddamn sky, you punch it, you put that passion there, because you're gonna look back on that moment 20 years from now, you can say, I wish I danced around like Rocky at the top of the steps for your own personal reasons.
Right.
Of course.
I love that you see that.
Let's go right now.
Let's run. All right, Anthony, you start running. I'll meet you in about 3 weeks.
Man, I want to get on a plane right now.
For me, and obviously I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised in Philadelphia. I live in Mayfair. And actually, I live right around the corner from Lincoln High School, where Sylvester Stallone went for.
Yeah.
Okay. There's two. Obviously Sylvester Stallone's a real person, but we always talk. I look at it as Rocky. So there's Rocky. There's two Philadelphians I always look up to that make me want to just, no matter what I'm facing, it's Rocky, and the other guy was Brian Dawkins from the Eagles when he played here.
Yeah.
And especially when it came out right around Hall of Fame season, a year ago, 2 years ago, and he said to the world, hey, I went through depression and anxiety, and I was thinking of ways to check out, without it looking like I was checking out. And this way, everybody, my wife and kids could get the insurance money. And that spoke volumes to me. And and it is because, and I'll tell you how, it's not just me personally, but Rocky's such a big thing for my family. Like I said, it was from, I was a young kid when I first saw it. So being Italian, being Portuguese, it's really not that different. What I'm saying? So we're raised the same way, especially with my dad, the hard work and the dedication and you put in the effort, no matter what you do. But and with my wife's family, it's the same thing, So when we got married, two things, I was able to incorporate Rocky and the art museum thing. I proposed to my wife at the art museum, right at the second level. Off to the
nice.
Of course. Where else?
Big points. Big Rocky point.
Definitely.
It was 11 years ago because we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
that's awesome.
The other thing was we were like, what other ways can we incorporate, Rocky into the wedding? And we decided, there's only one way to do it. So we picked our entrance song was going to Fly now. And that's what we walked into. And everybody's like, yep, that had to be a Paul and Kate thing. Because my father-in-law is, an always, big proponent of Rocky, big fan of Rocky. And he's always going around, even to my son. I have my son's birthday's tomorrow. And even to my son, he always goes, Danny, I had the tiger. And he hasn't watched Rocky yet, my kid, but he knows about I've taken him to the statue. I've showed him the sneaker imprints at the top of the steps and everything. But he's still a little too young, I think, to understand. So I'm waiting just a little bit more. But the other thing too is I told Stacy this, I believe either through messaging or when you and I spoke.
Right.
So anytime I go in, I've gone in for any procedures, any surgeries, anything else. I don't care how many you have. You're always worried about something going wrong. That's just me. I start overthinking, overanalyzing, and it's part of who I am and what I've always done for work and everything. I always try to look at the different outcomes and details and everything just so I can prepare. But the one thing that gets me going is and kind of it builds me up to where, I'm like, can I make it through this? And then it brings me down to like, what I'm going to be okay is I will play Going the Distance right before they wheel me into the operating room. I will play Going the Distance and I'll play The Final Bell. And I will go through a range of emotions right there and then. I bet. If my mom's there, my wife is there, I'll ask them, hey, leave the room. I just need the next, 7 minutes to myself to get myself going. And it is. And every time I hear those two songs, it does fill me up emotional because I think they're the perfect songs of building up through all your struggles and tribulations and all the hardships you go through life. And then obviously the final bell is that you made it. You did it. All that hard work, all that sacrifice, everything you put it in. And I remember I became really emotional, and I'm trying to keep myself right now from letting the tears flow. Was when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And they were going through that run, and there was somebody down in Delaware County. They were making these compilation videos of Rocky moments and like the Eagles season. Yeah. And they were putting it to the songs, and then when they fought, and then that's what they did. Like they put that last scene of Tom Brady throwing the ball. Sorry, Stace, I know you're from.
I'll let it go.
He throws the ball.
They've won enough.
He goes incomplete, and like they mashed it well, like right at the crescendo of final bell when you realize, they won.
Yeah,
and I sobbed like a child all the time. And it's
you're not alone.
So did I.
You're not alone.
It's been 4 years, but I still get emotional in the case.
Oh my God, yeah.
And my wife goes, "Why do you do this to yourself?" She's like, "You're not even doing it to enjoy it. Like, are you trying to make yourself cry?"
We are enjoying. It's enjoyment.
I said it is. She's like, "You're like a crying junkie." She's like, "You're trying to make yourself." I'm like, "I'm not." It's just like, I love it. I get,
that's it, man.
You want it, and it's great, and it is. And we're being from Philadelphia. And anybody, and even if you're not, but we know what it's like. Like, I know what it's like to be a Philadelphian. You know what I'm saying? Through and through. Mm-hmm. And everybody always looks at us, they're gritty and they're cold and they're callous and they're everything. People look at the negative. A lot of outsiders looking in. And that's how people looked at Rocky. You're just this meathead, you know what I'm saying? And you're a nobody meathead, and that's not true about Philadelphians. We're cultured, we're hardworking, we're passionate, and we're going to love you. And if you show us that heart, no matter who you are, if you show us that hard work and dedication and passion, it doesn't matter if you're, an athlete, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor. If you give us that same emotion that, we give you, we're going to love you forever. And that's why, Rocky's beloved in Philadelphia. And that, for me, he's the ultimate Philadelphian, because he represents who we are, as a people. Yeah. And it is, and he could be anybody.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
It's so true.
It is, Anthony. I drive around the city 8 hours a day, and I tell you, there's numerous busts of Ben Franklin, statues of Washington, and other major players who formed the country in Philadelphia. And I'll tell you something, there's never a line there. There are people that take pictures of them, but no one is putting their fist up in front of Ben Franklin's head down by okay. They're at the Rocky statue has this pop culture draw, but much like Paul said, it goes far deeper than pop culture, because we all identify that, because he gave us so much and we just want to put that love back. Yeah. It's quite remarkable.
There's a little bit of Rocky in all of us.
There really is.
I know I have this little Rocky.
Yeah.
And he's in here.
Right, exactly.
He's in here. He walks around and he helps you out when you need it.
True.
But he's in there because he's every man. It's so true.
I would agree. I would agree. Now, Paul, listen, this being a Sunday, I know you're probably going to want to get back to your family soon, and we don't want to hold you up all day long.
Believe me. I spent all day yesterday. We did a birthday celebration for my son, so
I got you.
He did it yesterday. He did it yesterday to free up today.
I might just put this on the loop so they think I'm still doing this.
I gotcha. Just keep playing it louder and louder and louder. Well, listen, there's I always ask this question, and I'm going to ask you in just a moment. But before that, before we let you go, I just wondered, do you know what the little Portuguese connection to Rocky is?
Oh,
wow.
Not a lot of people are aware of this.
It's only a question Mike could ask here.
You know what?
It is my job.
All the times I watched all the movies.
Okay, so
no, I can't right now at the top on the spot.
No, that's fine. I about 97% of people have no clue what I'm going to say. So, Father Carmine, he was Portuguese.
Was he?
Yes, but he
changed. Father Carmine was Italian.
No, and he changed his name from his Portuguese name to Paul J. McHale, because he felt he was being discriminated against in Hollywood. And so when he changed his name to an Irish name, why it wouldn't have been Italian, I don't know, but he changed it to Paul J. McHale, and that's when he started getting more work in Hollywood. And I always thought, like, I was very ignorant, like as a kid growing up, and I'm slightly less ignorant now, but I'm pretty ignorant. But I didn't really know Portuguese. I didn't know where Portugal was. I really didn't know what type of nationality that was. I didn't know. And I said, "Oh, Father Carmine. Jeez, I always thought he was Italian." No, Portuguese.
That's cool.
And just to let you know, so in Philly, the Portuguese community used to be, there was a little like section of Alney carved out. That was the
really?
Yeah. So
I had no idea.
Roughly, and I feel bad because Stacey's like, I don't know where any of these places are.
Right.
So but you do so from the Boulevard to Duncannon, and then from so I would say Front Street to 8th Street. That little area of Olney was the Portuguese community. And then it kind of broke up like early 90s as everybody went to the suburbs. And
yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah, see, I never knew that.
Yeah, look at that.
The things you learn. All right, listen. Before we get you out of here, before you leave, I got to ask this question. So you've got 30 seconds. You're in an elevator with Sylvester Stallone, and you're both traveling like 5 floors. What do you say to Sylvester Stallone alone in the elevator? Go.
I want to thank you so much for what you've done for me and everyone else like me, because you've given me a sense of hope, and direction. And Rocky lets me know that everything's going to be okay, and that, a guy like me could make it in the world no matter what we choose to do. And I want to thank you. You have no idea how much you mean to me and every other person that I've ever met. Thank you.
Perfection. Heartfelt. Right. I mean, you're going to make me cry. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. That sounds like the most real one we've heard so far. That's
beautiful.
Yeah. It's just so solid, right?
I felt like we were in that elevator.
I would have probably need to go up the entire Comcast building before I get
yeah, right.
Exactly.
Hit every button.
We always say, we just hit all the buttons. Sorry. Sorry, man.
That's like Elf, right? And when he said Christmas tree, right? And that exactly right, man.
Sorry, Sly.
Sorry, Sly. You're gonna be very late for your appointment. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
We're not making it to the observation deck. Sorry, not gonna happen. All right, listen. Before we let Paulo go, you guys got anything else you want to ask him or say just before we move on?
Yeah, Stacey, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say thank you. I just love all the connections all around, the way you know Philadelphia, and I really enjoyed your sincerity.
Thank you.
I just great guest. That's all I have to say. You were dynamite. So thank you.
Oh yeah,
so
he's like so nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
You really are what we want the show to be about.
Yeah,
100%. How have you had a struggle and use Rocky to get you through that? That's exactly what we're about. So
thank you.
Keep punching, my friend. It was so nice to meet
you.
Yeah.
My friend, take care of yourself. And as we always say,
give us a keep punching. Give us a keep punching.
You got it.
Punching.
There you go. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for making me part of your group. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my friend. I'll look for you in Philly. Take care.
You take care. Thank you, guys.
Okay, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys, how amazing.
Oh man,
was he?
Dynamite.
What an incredible guy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. This guy was inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's I mean, you talk about an inspirational story journey.
Yeah.
You know, this guy, I can't imagine facing the mountain of issues that he has. And I mean, it makes total sense why he would draw on Rocky.
Yeah.
And Stacey, how about that mental health aspect of it and how profoundly it affected him?
Yeah. No, he had some very serious struggles with depression, anxiety, a lot of struggles between the culture that he was brought up in and the expectations of his parents, what it means to be an immigrant. And you will hear it on the Mentel podcast, things that if we grew up here, we don't really think about. But, you know, when immigrants' parents come, they have a certain set of expectations. They came here for a reason. And so he had all those expectations from his parents.
Right.
But then there's the American culture and all those expectations, and they didn't always align. So that caused him a great deal of struggle as a young man. And then, of course, all his health issues, the cancer and so forth, and all the surgeries he's been through. So much. And then it always breaks my heart. We do have something similar in our family with suicide. And so when someone gets so sad that they're considering such things, that's heartbreaking. And he has used Rocky to get through. And I was initially interviewing him for the Mentel podcast that we're starting for the Mentel Clothing in Mike Bell over in the UK. And then that's when we got started. He's like, oh, and I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm a huge Rocky fan. I'm like, of course you are, and that's
and
why
I watch you guys
here.
all the time. Yeah.
And I do want to. He didn't get to mention it, but I do for him. I just want to say he does have a men's mental health group that he has started on Instagram, I believe. Forgive me, Paul. I think it's called Supporting Our Brothers.
Anthony,
okay,
you'll drop that in, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
100%.
So
thank you.
I mean, you know, on Instagram you can come from anywhere, but if you are from Philadelphia and want a group to belong to, he's on Instagram Supporting Our Brothers. So he's going to be on Mentel as well. And
that's great.
I just think he's a great example of what it means to get help and be better. He's done that. He's come over that hump.
He really is.
Yeah. Right, Anthony?
Oh, unbelievable. When you, right off the bat, when he was, you know, telling us about his struggles and all, you know, not just one health problem, more than one health problem, and all the other stuff you were talking about, Stacey. And then when he was telling us how he thought about checking out, that's I can't even imagine getting to that point. You know, when you're like, what good am I to anyone? He said. And to come back and now help others, that's what a monumental achievement. Like, that's unbelievable. And he looks amazing. He
looked good and healthy. And the fact that he was, we didn't even get to properly introduce him. You hit record. He went right into talking.
Hit the ground running.
Okay. And I was sitting there, I'm like, maybe what do I do? Do I flag and say, we got to, and I said, you know what? No, we'll tease it. We'll tease it and we'll just go right with it because
we run with it.
He was so open. I said, nah, this guy's ready to talk. Let him go.
He's ready to go 100%.
Yeah,
like,
he's ready to go. I love that.
Great guy.
No, and he's also in the middle of his life coach certification, which is perfect for him because he's going to be mentoring other men. So I wanted to say that too.
What an amazing thing. So when you're in the throes of these depressing thoughts and when it's kicking your ass, to turn around and however long, months, weeks, months, years later, to turn around and then use that as a skill set to help other people, that's incredible. That really is a noble thing to do. You know, when you're able to be a sounding board, a soft mattress for someone to land on, and then you can just put your arms around and say, it's okay, I got you, I've been there, I know what you're going through, but look at me, I made it, you can make it too, let's talk. And Stacey, this goes to one of your huge beliefs, this goes to one of the things you're so proud about, is that men do need to talk more. They do need to put those feelings out there. Unfortunately, I've said this before, we're not there yet as a society, but I think we're making strides. I do. I do. I hope so anyways.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
All right. Listen, what else?
What a great interview.
the first part of the show, we talked about some serious events that took place for one of us on this show.
Did.
So we covered all of that, right? Now, no need to go back to that. Because I'll start crying again.
It's so good.
Yeah, right. I'm not ready to cry yet in public. No. I do cry in public. I do.
I have something for Anthony to make him cry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's that? What is that? Oh Lordy!
Look at that.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That's an.
Yep, my friend.
That's Elvis, isn't it?
It sure is. And my friend Michelle.
You never walk alone, right?
Yeah.
Wow. What is that? One of those Christmas ornaments, or is that like a diorama display?
I think it goes on. I don't know if there's batteries, but it lights up behind
here,
and then it has the song. And so my friend Michelle, who just loves Anthony, she was doing some cleaning out, and she's like, I have to give this to Anthony. I have to. So you'll be getting this in the mail.
Oh, that's awesome.
My goodness.
And this is from my friend Michelle to you because she loves your accent.
Yeah, the one I don't know I have, but yeah. Michelle, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means so much. That's awesome. That is fantastic.
Man.
Wow. Hey, look, my first gift.
See? Fan gift.
Thank you.
Be careful.
Thank you, Stacy.
They acquire fast. You're gonna have to put shelves up in your room.
Yeah, we know. Well,
put them all over.
I don't think we're gonna get to your gift.
Hey, listen.
You never know, though.
You're very famous in the podcasting community. People are digging you, especially the gals.
Yeah.
Hey, what do we?
The
accent. It's all about the accent.
It's all about the accent. I think I have some kind of hybrid, like Canadian Italian. That's.
Oh, maybe
where it's coming from. Yeah, it could
maybe.
Be.
But I gotta tell you, I'm loving the whole beard and everything. It's really coming in thick and nice. We got a little red there. It's almost like a Kris Kringle thing going on.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of like an elf. I had to take it down. Believe it or not.
Oh, really?
If you had seen me. If you had seen me yesterday, wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy,
a little scruffy. Yeah,
a little scruffy. So,
that's funny.
You know, we're doing a lot of work. We're preparing for a few shows coming up that are very important. So you know, I was working.
Well, listen. Before we sign off and say goodbye to everybody? Are we promoting anyone this week other than the three of us?
I have one.
Or next week. Yeah, Stacey.
Yeah,
I just as a continuation of my post, J-Man's Movie Cave, starting in January, he's going to be doing Stallone Saturdays, and so he'll be talking all things Stallone. So it'll be
right?
Yeah, starting
every week.
Yeah, every week on Saturdays starting in January.
Cool.
He just wanted us to do a shout out for him. He's always doing a shout out for us in all his Rocky reviews. So I just
that's awesome.
Friend of the show, J-Man. Yeah,
J-Man's Movie Cave on YouTube. Jason Nike. He's a doll.
Nice.
He's a good guy. He's my countryman from Oshawa, Ontario. He's a good guy.
Oh, is that where he's up there in the Canadian woods?
Yes. He's in the Canadian. He's not too far from me.
I have this image.
We're paisanis.
I have this image of all the Canadians up there, and I'm probably dead on accurate.
Okay.
When you open up your
let's see. Tell me, yeah.
When you open up your cupboards, do you have like dozens and dozens of rows of like maple syrup all up there? I have this image in my mind of Canadian.
Right. That goes along with like, do you live in igloos and stuff? Can I be honest? I don't even. I think maybe I have. If I even do have. One jar of it.
Really?
What?
One, like it's not like that's not our staple. Really, to be honest, it's hilarious. People think it is, but not so much. No, really.
That's funny.
Probably have like just like regular syrup, like not even maple syrup.
Yeah, like Aunt Jemima or something.
Exactly. Yeah, like
you can taste the chemicals in that. It's horrible.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
It's not like give me that maple syrup.
I'll tell you what. Before we say goodbye, somebody sent me a gift from Canada. They took one of the tours a few years back, and they sent me a little Canadian maple leaf bottle. It was a glass bottle, and it was with pure maple syrup.
Right.
Oh.
And I remember it being pretty good. It's empty now, but I thought, wow, this is what I have it over there on my gift shelf from people that send me stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, what an interesting thing. Like they literally must have gone right to a maple tree, hung the bucket,
we just
dripped it in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
I just thought that was the weirdest thing.
It's funny because you were talking about this earlier about the Rocky statue, and real quick, I just wanted to say, I guess it's the same thing. Like we have that here, but we kind of take it for granted. Do you guys take the Rocky steps and the statue for granted ever? Maybe not you, but you drive by it 100 times. Like me, I'll drive downtown the core of Toronto, and you're like, oh yeah, CN Tower.
More people than not,
whatever, but
more people than not take the steps for granted.
Right? Aren't you? They
even goof on it. I can't even begin to tell you how many people I've met from Philly, and they go, the Rocky Steps. You believe we have a statue? Guy ain't even real. We got a statue.
If I had that statue in my city, every day.
And I don't get it. It's not about being real. It's about the inspiration that comes from it, the philosophy surrounding this amazing, humble, simple, broken down boxer. Some people don't get that, but then you got other people who, devoted their lives to it. And so, those people are really weird.
Yeah.
They need meds.
They have this line. They have this line for Elvis. They say, if you're a fan, no explanation is necessary. If you're not a fan, no explanation is needed. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you can't help those people because they're not going to get it. So so true. Here, boy, I'd drive by every day and have a chat with them.
Well, sooner or later, we're going to get your backsides down here doing a tour, going to dinner at the Victor's. We'll do a whole show maybe from the Rocky Room here. If you guys stay overnight or something,
so cool.
I'll come up, pick you guys up. We'll just sit here at a round table.
So cool.
I don't know how we're gonna do the mics and all that, but we can figure that out.
It doesn't matter.
But we can figure that all out. And I thought that would be really neat to do a whole show right here, since you guys will be down in my neck of the woods, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah.
We'd bring all our setups and we'd figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I don't know what we're doing, but we'll figure it out. Guys,
all right,
we have done another amazing episode. I can't believe it. Episode 14. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I know, really? That number is
teenagers.
You're right. Yeah.
We're double digits now, man.
We're teenagers. Yeah.
Seriously.
Great show, guys. We got another big one next week, and
we're counting down.
Yes, we do.
We're counting down to some hopefully very, very good things coming up. So, as we always say, keep punching.
Punch it.
Good night, everybody.